Hey guys, Hayden from Engineering Adventures, and welcome to another episode of the Weekend Warrior series. Now we've grabbed the keys to the Weekend Warrior and we're heading away on an absolutely awesome long weekend adventure. But for this one, we've actually teamed up with Great Divide Tours and we are doing one of their 4-day awesome adventures down into the beautiful Snowy Mountain region. Now the specific tour we're on is the Man from Snowy River tour. Starting at Jindabyne, it heads down into the heartland of the Snowy Mountains through some absolutely gorgeous scenery. Now we're actually a couple of days into the trip already, but sit back as we show you from the start this absolutely amazing adventure. Enjoy.
The tour began in Jindabyne and we headed down into Victoria along the beautiful and scenically spectacular Barry Way. This unsealed road followed the very edge of the mighty Snowy River. Stopping for lunch on the banks of the Snowy, we enjoyed the crisp mountain air and scenery of those rugged ranges immortalised by the famous Man from Snowy River verse. After lunch, we climbed up the edge of the Snowies all the way to the quaint little town of Sugganbuggan, where, once we were there, we got to visit its absolutely gorgeous historic schoolhouse. After following some beautiful country backroads, we made camp in what was known as Brumby Camp, where not only did we have an absolutely gorgeous spot to camp for the night, but the lookout and the view was even better. Day 2, we awoke to being quite literally in the clouds. Once we had packed up and headed out of Brumby Camp, our guide wasted no time and we were straight on to some delightful four-wheel drive tracks. These tracks took us through some very picturesque snow gums and onto a couple of absolutely awesome lookouts with some magnificent views. Then we came down off the mountain and followed a trail known as the Misery Trail. But I tell you what, there was nothing miserable about it. This track was a heap of fun, and once again got to marvel at the beautiful snow gums that lined either side of the beautiful little four-wheel drive trail. Once again, we got up to another couple of lookouts where the view was absolutely spectacular. But finally, it was time to make our way off the top of the Great Divide and descend straight into our campsite for the night. Our campsite for the next 2 nights was the spectacular Buckwong Hut Campground. Located in the bottom of the valley, surrounded by some amazing scenery, right up next to this beautiful freshwater stream, was the most gorgeous and idyllic location to be able to set up our swag and settle in right next to the campfire for some beautiful home-cooked tucker and a good night's rest for the next 2 days of even better adventures. Day 3, we left the base camp for a round trip adventure that would take pretty much all day, not because it was long, but because the tracks we were heading out on were steep and rugged, but the scenery was absolutely spectacular. First up for the day, we hit the Mount Gibbo track, which is an absolute load of fun. But getting to sit up there and having morning tea at the top of Mount Gibbo, which looked out over all of the Snowy Mountains National Park, was definitely something of a highlight of the trip. Leaving Mount Gibbo, we got to follow along some absolutely gorgeous ridgeline tracks that followed all the way to the even better Mount Pinambar lookout. Now Mount Pinambar has a direct view to Mount Kosciuszko, so I tell you what, it was the perfect spot to set up for lunch and enjoy the spectacular view. After lunch, we jumped back in the four-wheel drives and headed back down some beautiful old logging trails that circumnavigated the magnificent mountains of Davies High Plains. These awesome logging tracks brought us all the way back down into our amazing campsite for our second night at Buckwong Hut. Once we got back into camp, we got to set up an absolutely awesome campfire, break out the bush cooking skills, and settle in for a beautiful, peaceful night, ready for our last day of some awesome adventures. Our final day, we departed camp and headed for Tom Grogan. This beautiful track involved an absolutely stunning low-range descent straight down for over 10 kilometres towards the grassy Tom Grogan Valley. Once we reached the bottom of the valley, we set up for some breakfast. Once everyone was fueled up and ready to go, we headed down to our final obstacle for this adventure, the water crossing of the beautiful Murray River. Once all the vehicles had successfully made it across the water crossing, we pulled into the beautiful Tom Grogan campsite for a spot of lunch. While we all pulled up for lunch, we got the opportunity to go down and explore the beautiful, pristine, crystal clear waters of the Murray River. Our final part of the journey was airing up and getting back onto the beautiful Alpine Way. Our final stop was at Dead Horse Gap, where we got one last spectacular view for this adventure. While we were there, we got to stop and say goodbye to the awesome group that we were with and exchange details ready for our next adventure. A big shout out goes to the team at Great Divide Tours, and in particular our guide Cam. We had an absolutely amazing long weekend adventure, and we definitely recommend anyone who's not confident or just looking for a new group of people to travel with, jump on board, have a look at their website and find a tour that suits you. I know we'll be looking at a few more tours very soon, so stay tuned and keep an eye out for the Weekend Warrior on your next adventure. Take care and enjoy, guys.